think we can give a chance also if any of the presenters before would like also to maybe ask any of the other presenters in the kind of table.
But I'm very curious because of the northern countries. So the Finland example, it's a quite good example. One question that I do have, another question, it's for them, of course, because I think we and Portuguese and Spaniards, we are most at the same level. So we have the same problems. The problem of the commuting time being most of the time the parents taking their kids at school. I don't do that. I avoid to do that at maximum. Then one other thing that I do to my kids, that I say to my kids, is to go walking until school, because that makes them waking up. So I think that's really, really important. It's an important issue that we as countries, so Portugal, of being commuting, walking or cycling or something like that. So to wake up. And we have an advantage because our kids, when go to school, most of them, they already have some sun outside, and in Finland during winter they don't. So we have an advantage that we don't take we don't use it. And another thing, I think that our kids are spending many time at school. I don't know if in Spain it's just like how it's here, but the kids are coming very early in the morning and they left very late. So it's difficult. I think it's turns out very difficult to have amusing things and nice things that the kids can enjoy to pass home all those hours that they spend in schools. I don't know, but in Finland, at what time do all kids go home? Can I ask this? Because it's, yeah, Juni, please.
Yeah, well, it depends. The youngest, like the first graders, I think their school days are on average 4 hours per day or 5 hours per day, and then it gets longer, so it's probably average about six hours a day for the sixth graders, and then somewhere around like maybe 7 hours for the lower secondary school. So the school days in Finland are shorter than in many countries. But regarding the commuting thing, I completely agree. It's really an important aspect of physical activity, because it's the good thing is that if, let's say, it's 15 minutes one way, it means it's half an hour per day. It's 2.5 hours per week. And so it's actually like a sports hobby. We don't consider it as a sports hobby, but that's actually what it is. And it's, as a sports hobby, it's free. It doesn't require us parents to drive them anywhere. Actually, it reduces our driving. And it happens every day, and you don't have to actually organize it in any way. You don't have to pay for it. It happens every day, yeah, twice a day. And it's actually already half of the recommendation comes from 15 minutes per day. So it's really an important.
I think it gives also some autonomy to those kids. You know, they start to grown up by doing that by themselves also.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
and also it teaches them how to behave when they grow up to be adults. So the research shows that if they are active as kids, as in commuting, then they learn the habits that they use when they are grown-ups.
And another thing that I can see, another advantage, because I see that in my own daughter. So she goes to school picking her colleagues through the paths, because many of her colleagues are actually our neighbors. So they pick each other during the path and they go together to school. So I think it's also it's really important. I think that's really an issue, and it's, as you were saying, it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's at least something, you know, that they actually move and they are not all stuck and seated the whole day. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, regarding this conversation, there is in Spain, at least in Valencia for sure, there is some experiences also which picking up the ideas of Tonucci, Italian pedagogist, who wrote the book on the city for children, like they can again enjoy the city, no? And this is something that in the Nordic model, I think they haven't lost it so much as we have done in the Mediterranean. It's amazing how you go to see the entrance of the school and it's full of cars in the second line, badly parked because many people is commuting, dropping the kids and then go to work. Even when they live not too far from the schools, because later they will drive far away, no? And I think it's something what you say, no, is this idea that they recover the space and they can do things themselves, no? I usually put an example, no, in my teaching when I talk about, I don't know so much Finland, I know a bit more Estonia, which is not so far, and here children are expected to go on their own to school as of 7 years old, and it's something. I mean, I'm still working with them because my kids are half Spanish, and they want me to go with them to school. But we are like 3 or 4 parents only who are bringing, like, walking the kids to school, and it's quite normal that children are moving on their own, no? And they also take public transport when they go to see a museum, and they use the city as an adult would do. And this is also give them an advantage also in the long run, no? With this PISA and all those things, because they have been from very young behaving like people with capacities because they have the capacities to do it. Whereas in the south of Europe, I have the feeling that we have still more this shell, no, this protection, and they don't do the things so early. No? And the second thing I wanted to comment is also from my own experience, no, this idea of this COVID, no, because we used to take a bus, no, the bus for 2 stops to bring them to school because it was very early in the morning. And here, as you said, in winter, it starts getting very cold. Maybe you're under 0 and you feel like, well, I let them to sleep 5 minutes more, and then I put them in the bus and I bring them to school. No, but the more I've been reading and the more I've been listening to people like you real about those things, the more I have understood that even if it's early when they enter the school, at 8 they enter, it's better that we take these 15 minutes to walk to the school, because they will take much more profit. Even if it's in the dark night, at least they can do the exercise and they can get more active into the classroom. And they still tell me, but we don't take buses anymore. I say, well, it's like better not to take the bus, because it's this COVID from one hand, but it's also this that you will get more active when you arrive to school. And I think those things, and about this I will talk a little bit more in the afternoon. This is the type of things that I think we should be able to communicate to schools. And I think this experience, what Joni was telling us, is actually in this direction, and this is the nice thing what they are doing in their project. And I think we should try to make those things also in other parts of Europe, and try to share this knowledge and these proposals and bring them back so they become a reality in many more schools.